This is Reporter Room with Jessica Della Davies.
Hello, Reporter Room investigators. Come on in, come on in. I'm so glad that you're here joining me today. My name is Jessica Della Davies. I'm an investigative journalist, and my job is to investigate crimes, crime scenes, and potential suspects, and share with you how to do the same thing. If you have not subscribed to Reporter Room, please do. Like, share, leave a comment, and know that everything I'm sharing with you is my opinion. So get this. James Patterson appeared today on Fox News to promote his brand new book. They talked about the motive of BK, but it gets even more interesting, you guys. Listen to this.
Complicated, and we'll never know. I bet if I talk to him, I bet he doesn't exactly know. He obviously had a big problem with women. We believe he was targeting Maddie, and things had happened. He just gotten fired from his. He was going to lose his scholarship out there at University of Washington State. I'll tell you one thing. Anybody listening and watching, if you're disappointed because you're not going to find out what's happening in the trial, everything that would have been covered in the trial is covered in this book. Everything and so much more. Things about the police department there. Things about Kohberger, which you're getting into. One of the interesting things is we went down to Pennsylvania, Vicki Ward and I, and he was a heroin addict as a young guy there, and he was breaking and entering into houses. He'd been doing it for years, and that's exactly what happened in Moscow.
Okay, so he didn't just steal his sister's cell phone and that was the end of it. He was breaking into people's houses in Pennsylvania. So there was a long and troubled history related to Bryan Kohberger and his behaviors that went well beyond taking his sister's cell phone and being misogynistic.
Broke into this house and killed these four beautiful students.
So you write this in the book, and I think this is important. The Idaho 4 on the detective knowing Bryan Kohberger. This is one of the detectives assigned to the case. His name is Brett Payne. He says, we think we know who the suspect is, and he's in WSU housing. And then he says his name, Bryan Kohberger. Odd name, Jenkins thinks, but it's an oddly familiar name. It rings a bell, and then it comes to him. I know that name. He tells the people in the room. He sees astonishment on their faces. I think I interviewed him for an internship position when I was the Pullman chief. I probably have his resume and cover letter in my files. He goes straight back to his office and sends them over.
So the fact that Bryan Kohberger was breaking into people's houses back in Pennsylvania, I don't know how much of this was on his record and if it got expunged at some point, but surely his parents, Michael and Marianne Kohberger, would have been aware of this. And so this gives us some more insight into the dynamics between Bryan Kohberger and his parents. And it goes back to Howard Blum's assertion that Michael and Marianne Kohberger were in denial about Bryan.
Tell us about that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, most people know Bryan was studying criminology, and then he tried to get into the get a job as an intern in the police department out there. The police department did a terrific job. I mean, they had one bad press conference, but other than that, because Bryan almost committed the perfect murder, had he not left that chief, there would not have been a trial. They didn't. The evidence they had was, I think, circumstantial, and it wouldn't have happened.
Well, James, I think
the police, and we get into the police. I mean, and the chief of police, who did a terrific job. Everybody did a good job out there, and they got him.
The problem, James, and you're so right about this, and that's why I always said this case was an iffy one going to trial. How they obtained the DNA was the night chief. And if you look at some of the case, he went back to the house after he committed the crime based on the cell phone data. I think he realized that he had left some of the evidence, but he worked at the crime light as an internship, I think.
Yeah, I don't know how he thought he would get the chief back, but he did go back the next morning, which is pretty insane, but I guess that's probably makes sense.
And I'm wondering if this is when that Van's shoe print was left. I believe he wore booties when he broke into the house that the night that he did away with everyone. But when he went back a little after 9 a.m. that same day, but early hours of the morning, I believe that he was going into the house quickly and coming out quickly because he was doing a quick look around to see if he could get that knife sheath. And I believe that it was at this point that he left the van's shoe print outside of Dylan Mortenson's doorway. When he didn't see the knife sheath, he went back and took another shower because he had been back to the crime scene. And I believe it was at this point that he took that infamous thumbs up selfie.
James, what do you think is the biggest takeaway people are going to learn from this book? Because that's why they would purchase it.
Oh, I look at what Vicky and I tried to do was not to glorify Kohberger,
no,
but to get people to feel these 4 students who were murdered and their families. They're 4 beautiful families, and also the kids. You got 2 college towns here. You have Moscow, Idaho, University of Idaho, and then Pullman, Washington, Washington State. And you think about whatever college is near your university where your kids go or whatever, and you imagine these murders in one of those small towns or even in a big city like NYU, it's horrifying.
If you haven't subscribed, please hit the subscribe button. It's free and it helps me out a lot. Give this a thumbs up and drop me a comment. Let me know what you think about all of this in the comment section below.
I got nightmares in my head, I fear that the thoughts build up until I can't hear, that my mind fills up into a creature, and it haunts me somewhere much deeper. I got nightmares in my head, I fear that the thoughts build up until I can't hear, that my mind fills up into a creature, and it haunts me somewhere much deeper. I've been feeling weird, I can't seem to focus good enough. Nothing's really clear, sometimes it could be a little tough. I just need